Hello, my name is Benjamin S. Hartman, and I am a novelist working on my upcoming novel, Henry's Horsemen. I wanted to create this vlogging series, so that I could get into a little bit more of explaining what my novel is about, what the characters are like, what are some of the plot points, explanations, and what have you. And I decided to do a vlogging series primarily because most of my writing time is spent on writing my books. I don't have the interest or the intrigue of writing a blog series because it takes up a lot of time and energy that I believe would be much more adequately spent here on camera talking to you directly. So, first of all, what is Henry's Horsemen? Well, it's a sci-fi novel spoken through the eyes of the main character, Silas Godfrey. And Silas Godfrey, while locked up in a prison cell, is approached by a man named John C. Henry, leader of the Horsemen Initiative for the mysterious Ionics Corporation. The reason why John has approached Silas is that he is creating this team of scientists who he intends to turn on into mercenary soldiers. And the reason being is that because John believes that scientists are the perfect candidates to deal with the threats that face humanity when exploring deep space. You know, when we see the movies Alien, Predator, or Prometheus, which is what inspired the novel in the first place, humans are always getting slaughtered at the hands of the vicious alien. And I just wanted to create a team. You know, I remember when I was watching, let me rephrase, when I was watching Prometheus, I remember saying to my friends, I thought, why can't we have a team of scientists who just get everything right? And then suddenly the Horseman was born. And the reason why I created it, as I said, was to create this team of scientists who get everything right. But in order for them to get everything right, they can't exactly have the moral, ethical embraces that a lot of normal scientists have. This ties into the story because John Henry is essentially recruiting all of the bad boys of science. You know, he has a unique and dynamic team that Silas Godfrey will be interacting with, and as John essentially tells Silas, I'm looking for a bunch of PhDs who can hold their own in a bar fight. So when I created this story, it was a lot of fun creating all these different characters who have huge egos and huge dynamics and huge achievements, and making them into this hash mash of a team that the only person who can put them together is John Henry. John Henry himself is a colonel from what's known as the Earth Core military, because in this universe, Earth has colonized several planets, and Earth is constantly seeking to expand throughout the Milky Way galaxy. And in order to get deep space colonization right, there's facing of alien monsters, diseases that humanity has no immunities to, hostile alien races, what have you. There are all sorts of threats that humans are facing as they expand into the universe. Henry's goal is to make deep space colonization possible for Earth and to make it safer. And that's why he's creating the Horsemen Task Force, so that they can come together and create the procedures and methods for making deep space colonization possible for Earth. So, as I mentioned, we have Silas Godfrey, who is one of the primary characters. He is a chemistry professor who hates his job, his reputation is trounced because of some criminal acts that he has just performed, hence why he's in prison. And John Henry is offering him immunity. And that's a pattern we're going to notice, is that Henry offers pretty much all of the Horsemen immunity at some point in order to get them to join his team. It's kind of a join me or go to prison, because as I mentioned, Henry's recruiting the bad boys of science. Some of the other team members include Dr. Adam Salter, known as the Xenocytalist of Angkor, and the reason behind that is Dr. Adam Salter is one of the original colonists of what is known as the Angkor colony. And the Angkor colony was under threat from an alien race, and Dr. Salter is the one who is responsible for driving this alien race into extinction. And hence why he's known as the Xenocytalist. He was also joined by his lieutenant and the Horseman medic, Dr. Murph McGinnis. And he's kind of like the cheerleader of the group. You know, Murph is one of those happy-go-lucky guys, and he believes in the best of people. He always believes in the good of people. So he's a very interesting character and kind of an offshoot balance to Dr. Adam Salter. There is Xingming Li, who is a botanist but primarily known as the Anarchist of Ophrydia. The reason why he's known as the Anarchist of Ophrydia is he led a planetary revolution against their dictator, bloodthirsty dictator, I may add, and ended what is known as the Kong Bu, or the Terror. Xingming Li is one who is known as for being keeps a lot to himself, very quiet, and he's a stealth member of the group. There is Jackson Warrens, who is a mechanic and essentially the big honcho meathead of the group. He's an infamous boxer who is very, very, very strong punch. It's said amongst the Horsemen that no one ever steps into the ring with Warrens to box him and expects to win. And he has an interesting story because he's known as the Africa's Deadliest Son, in which he was forced to manufacture and make weapons for a deadly African dictator who mercilessly slaughtered his own people, but Warrens was able to fight back. There is Hacker. He is just known as Hacker, the computer scientist who is known as the Stealer of Secrets. If there's a computer technology, Hacker can use it. If there's a computer bypass or security breach that can be executed, Hacker can do it. Hacker created a group known as the Grid, which is a group essentially that believes in the freedom of information and were rebellious against the Earth core government. They don't believe in the secrecy of government. They believe in bringing it down as much as possible. Next, we have Jack Forrest, who is the happy-go-lucky pilot for the Horsemen and a constant slew of your mom jokes. And the primary target of his your mom jokes is Sujay Maharajan, the chief navigator and astrophysicist for the Horsemen crew. The Forrest and Sujay are definitely the comic relief for the book, and hopefully I've done that. And once again, even though they're the comic relief, Forrest definitely has the flight skills, and Sujay definitely has the smarts. Even though they mercilessly pick on each other while they're navigating the ship, they're the only ones who can get them done. They're the best pilots in the galaxy, hands down. Finally, we have the final character known as David Shepard. And David Shepard is actually a unique character because he's only 23, 24 years old, and he was actually accidentally discovered on the Horsemen's first mission. So there's a little bit of intrigue as to who David Shepard is. Why was he in this mission in the first place? Why is this Marine kid stranded here in a science project? What's his backstory? You'll have to read the novel in order to learn more. Speaking of the missions, the reason why the Horsemen are tasked is because they are essentially exist to wipe out the monsters of space. They're there to provide the cures to the diseases, to fight the alien races, and to create the procedures of what people are supposed to do as they're exploring deep space. And as the Horsemen go through and fight the monsters and cure the diseases, as they say, breathe in the plagues, as Silas once mentioned, what they're discovering as these events all transpire is that they're discovering a pattern. And as they discover this pattern of fighting these alien threats, they're actually a little bit more man-made than we originally suspected. Oh, there went my phone off. They're a little bit more connected than we originally thought. And the reason behind is because there's a radical group behind this. And the radical group, known as the Combine, their singular goal is to induce the evolution and perfect humanity. What do I mean by that? Well, you're going to have to explore the novel, as I said. But the Combine is the primary the primary villain in this novel, because they see humanity as fish crawling out of the swamp. And in order to evolve, and as a result, humanity must evolve. And the Combine see themselves as the ones who will perfect humanity through this induced evolution. Mankind doesn't necessarily get a choice in this matter. And what we find is that the Horsemen will eventually go to war against the Combine to see what happens in this quest and demented vision of perfecting humanity. That was just a little brief synapse of what the Horsemen is about. I hope you enjoyed the first of this vlogging series. Upcoming episodes, I will delve into each of the individual characters and explore what caused my inspiration in creating them, and just all of the ins and outs of working on this novel. I think this is going to be a fun series. I hope you enjoyed it, and please tune in next time. Oh, before I forget, if you would like to learn more, silly me, if you would like to learn more about the Horsemen and all of this that I'm talking about, please feel free to visit my website, Benjamin S. Hartman, HARTMAN.com, and subscribe to the newsletter email list. There you can become a beta reader for the Horsemen series, and you'll be one of the first to learn about all these intricate plot and storyline devices, and help me better my writing as I go through this journey of becoming a sci-fi novelist. Thank you so much. Until next time.